Hey guys, Jason from Orillia Fishing. I've been seeing a lot of videos on YouTube lately with everybody's kind of look back on 2016, and I thought I'd do the same. It's always good to look back and see where you've started and where you are now. And I think this year's been a pretty good year. I've done a lot more stuff than I normally would. I joined a bass club and I did some more tournaments, and I caught a lot more fish. So that's good. None of my fish are extremely huge, but I do want to share with you 5 fish that kind of have meaning to me. Whether it's with friends or just a decent sized fish that I was proud of that year. So let's get into it. Let's check out the first one. The first one was actually on Lake Dalrymple, and it was a pre-fish that I was doing before a little club tournament. I'd show you the lure I was using, but unfortunately during the tournament I lost it. I didn't tie it on properly or something, and a bass just took it, which is sad because it was a decent sized bass. I watched him come up and take it and swim away with it, but it was a live target thread fin shad square bell, I believe. It was my first time using live target lures, and I really like that one, so I'm probably going to pick some more of those up next year. I unfortunately didn't have the money to pick another one up, but yeah, so here's the clip of me watching it, or catching it, sorry. Look at this bitch. The second one is a trip I took with my brother-in-law, Jamie. We did this little private lake. It's not private as in owned by anybody, but it's a lake that you can't really get to unless you have property along the shorelines, and his buddy I guess apparently had a camp there. So we went down, we took this little leaky rowboat, and my brother-in-law put on his little outboard motor on there, and we putted around the lake, and we didn't have anything special. We didn't have any depth finders, we didn't have anything. It was just a couple of guys going out having some fun on the lake. This fish here that you'll see I caught kind of on a transition between lily pads and just the open lake, and I was tossing around a little square bell. This is the KVD Sexy Shad. It's slightly translucent, and it's one of my go-to crankbaits that I use. I'm a real big fan of these square bills because I spend a lot of time shallow, so you'll see it in the video here. The next one is Lake Muskoka. I went up with a buddy from my fishing club. We were doing a little pre-tournament fishing again on this lake, and we were just kind of putting around. We were doing some shoreline casting, and I don't know what he was using when he caught this, but I'm sharing his catch instead of it being mine, just because it means a lot. You know, I was out with a friend, and he caught a decent sized fish. So this is it. He was using an unknown square bill. I don't really know. I know I was using that KVD Sexy Shad, and I was catching some pike and stuff. So I think he switched up to that color just to kind of catch something. It was a really hot, cloudless sky, so the fish were buried deep and we couldn't really catch them. But we finally got some there at the end of the day, and this is his catch. The next one's back on Lake Muskoka. I went up kind of closer to the tournament. It was kind of a cloudy day, and I was throwing around this Rapala topwater, and normally I use a translucent green one, but unfortunately that got stolen by a pike, so I ended up using this one. This one is like a silver and black top with a red lip and a red feather, and I was just kind of popping it in this weedy bay, and this little smallie picked up on it. Pretty decent.
Caught before.
The next one here is the biggest fish I caught all year. This is out on my backyard lake, Lake Simcoe. I'm only a few blocks away from it, and I decided to go out there one day. I think I was actually going to go up to another lake, and I forgot some equipment, so I came back home to get it, and I decided, you know what, let's just fish Simcoe. And the north end of Simcoe wasn't doing too well this year. Normally there's a lot more fish. The water was down quite a bit. So, you know, I just kind of went around, tried to find some new water, and I did. I checked out this rocky flat, and using my favorite bait, this is the Rapala Husky Jerk. It's got a little rattle in it, and it's suspending. And it's translucent and green. I think they call it olive. And it's got these little tiny hooks. It's my favorite bait. I caught some nice fish on balsam lake with it. I actually won a club tournament on balsam with this lure, fast jerking it. It's my go-to bait all the time. And you'll see here, this is I can't remember. I think it was about 4 pounds. It was a 4-pound smallie. Biggest fish I caught all year, I believe. I guess some of those Dalrymple ones might have topped it, but I was pretty proud of it. So, you know, here it is. Alright guys, so that's it. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you liked looking at the fish that I caught. I know I like catching them. I'd love to see some of your catches. Send me a link to, you know, some of your videos, some of your pictures, and I'd love to check them out. Thanks.